So Isabella, welcome to the show. As I was saying, it is so cool and epic and awesome to have someone as badass as you. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. So tell me, how are you today? How's your Thursday for you so far?
Yeah, pretty good. Very productive. It was my day off for the week, half day off. I did drama teaching this morning and then did all the things that I have to do, running around, go to the gym, meal prep, just boring adult things.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Learn some lines for a script, and yeah, here I am.
I love it. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty chilling. Okay, okay, I like it. And so starting with the whole interview, let's go back in time a little bit, right? And tell me, how this passion for acting started?
Oh gosh, since I was coming out of the womb, pretty much.
Okay.
I guess I've always been very quirky and eccentric, and I think my parents could see that, so they put me into drama classes straight away, and I always did a lot of singing and dancing as well, and they put me into classes for that, and I guess I took off. I loved it so much, and I was always involved in the school choir, doing performances, volunteer work at my local church, singing there, doing little acting performances with my class at school, just little things like that. And then I guess just escalated from there.
That sounds pretty cool. And so time went by, and
Yeah.
what were some of the challenges that you started to realize that you were having when you were, started to kind of raise the stakes here, let's say.
Oh, definitely. I guess a big thing was bullying for me. Um,
Okay.
I, I guess that's something that probably a lot of performers go through, growing up at least. I guess that cut down my confidence quite a bit. Um, but I feel like when you've got that in you, that drive to want to perform and have an audience or be in front of a screen or any type of acting or performing, you just keep going, I guess. And I guess at first it kicked me down a little bit and I lacked a lot of confidence. But there was just something in me that kept wanting it. And I guess it makes you stronger in a sense, and you just push past it and you think, no, I'll keep going and I'll be where I want to be one day. And those opinions won't matter anymore. And I guess I'm where I am today because of those consistent thoughts and that drive and the resilience. So I'm pretty happy that I kept going.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Thank God that you kept going. I like that. I like that. And
Yeah.
yeah. That's really cool. And also the fact that you managed to just kind of overcome the whole bullying part, and things like that, and just to keep doing the thing that you like, and who cares what might others think, right?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people sometimes can't break through that. So I'm
Yeah.
happy that I was able to find that strength.
Yeah, it's complicated. I can understand that it gets complicated, and the more bullying you get, the more insecure you start to feel into a point in which you have total doubt in yourself, like 100%. You will doubt like everything,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just awful because you lose a lot of possible opportunities in that moment because you were insecure of yourself, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that's, I guess, the biggest barrier. Um, Even today, a lot of people feel insecure going into auditions, and that nervousness never goes away. But I guess you just have to keep going and believe in yourself, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. I like that. I like that. And going a little bit now into more into like the like the whole acting side here. So,
Yeah.
how you usually prepare a character? Now I understand, of course, that it depends on the role, right? But like, what usually is your thing, or like how you usually prepare yourself? Like, do you have like a ritual, or like something to kind of set your mind into this journey?
So prepare for a script while I'm learning it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so oh gosh, in the last year, I've really come into myself as an actor and really learned how I prepare, because over the years you get the same like teachers and different teachers, and they all have different opinions, and you find it difficult to try and go with what you think is best. But I think in the last year I've learned how I learn and prepare. And for me, obviously, you look into the character, where it's set, what time it is, like what era, and I read it over a few times, and I write little notes against each line, next to each line, which is always something that I was taught to do from a young age. But I don't like to stick with it because I don't like to feel like a robot when I perform. So I write these off the top of my head. I write these little notes next to it, how this person is feeling in that moment, how I could portray that character in that moment. I look over it a few times, and then I sort of just rip it up. I know that sounds crazy because you put a lot of work into that. And then most of my work is really done in the moment. A lot of actors like to or prefer to write all these things down and really rehearse the same thing over and over until it's mechanical. But for me, I like to do that, like rehearsing and studying to a certain point, and then the rest, once I've got that in my body, I like to play around with it. And when I'm in front of a screen or in front of a panel, I just sort of go with what feels right in the moment, especially if you're working with someone else too, because you need to be able to move with whatever's happening in that specific moment in time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And everything else is sort of already in the body. You know the lines, you know the rough idea of what's going on, and you've done your study, you've done your research. You just kind of give what you want in that moment, even if it's not anything like what you wrote down at the very first procedure of it all. Does that make sense?
And like, has it ever happened to you that you have all planned, all good to go, and when you were in this process of character creation, it took you too much because it was something there that was kind of stuck there? Has it ever happened that to you?
Yeah, maybe once or twice. It's funny, like I have a lot of these conversations with different people, and I think a lot of actors really try and study a script really hard, which is important. But I think I'm so used to learning to just be in my body with it and just present what I feel in the moment. I never really get stuck because I know that in that moment, my character would say this, and I feel like saying this right now. So maybe once or twice, but generally I feel pretty confident with how I deliver something in the moment because I trust my instinct.
Okay. Now, let's say that one day I call you, right? And then I tell you, guess what? I'm going to play a character. Now, I don't have any experience at all. Well, probably like 10, 15 minutes, but that doesn't count. I assume. But, so I call you and then I tell you I'm going to play a character. Now, I don't know anything about it, like nothing. So, based on your experience, what advice would you give to me so I can be like, okay, I think I can make this happen?
Oh, the biggest advice I think I could say is just be confident.
Great.
Don't be shy. This is an industry where you can't be shy. And there's been so many instances where I've been asked to do the weirdest things in an audition room or for a self-tape, and you just have to go for it.
Yeah.
It's as soon as you say, oh, no. I mean, there's a line. If you feel uncomfortable doing something, obviously don't do it. Trust your body. But if it's something a little bit weird that you wouldn't normally do, but it could get you the role or show them something special in you, then you just have to do it. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. Just break down the wall and pretty much act as if you're totally naked in a weird sense.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's say that I made it happen and then I love it and then I want to become an actor. What would be your next advice?
Just be you the whole time.
Okay.
I feel like talking to a lot of actors and friends who are trying to pursue this career, they always say, "Oh, my acting teacher told me to do this," and "Oh, I heard somewhere that you should do this." And there's so many opinions out there of how to do this and what to do in an audition room and how to prepare for a script. And I think for me, the best advice I learned was just be you and trust yourself. There's like so many ways that you can deliver a script or just a line. And sometimes a lot of acting teachers tend to tell their students, you need to give the casting panel what they're looking for.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I always like to walk in thinking, I'm going to do this a different way, how I would do it. And maybe they might see something special in that. And I've gotten good feedback from that. So I guess in my experience, it's worked. Yeah, just trusting yourself and preparing and performing a script how you would do it and how you want people to see you, not just what you think that they want to see, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like for some of the actors that I've interviewed, whenever I will ask this question, some of them have said that whenever you are about like in this process of either character creation or even acting, that it's not about you. You know that you need to kind of remove yourself out of it because it's like this whole thing is not set for you. It's to create a story, like in general, you know.
Yeah.
And the moment you kind of pull yourself away for a bit, so you can portray this character for the story, then it's when everything starts to make sense and everything kind of clicks together.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, and I agree with that as well. To a certain point, I always believe that you need to tell a story, obviously, the way that a director wants. Obviously, following that story as best as you can, but there always has to be a little bit of you inside there so that there's truth. And I believe that a lot, like bringing past experiences into that character and just memories and experiences that you've had, and you slowly realize, oh, this person or this character is not so different to me. I feel like in that moment it's me, and you just have to bring a bit of that into the script.
Okay, I love it. Now, so yeah, like in some of your career you have done some plays here and there. So what is your, like, how you usually prepare before going on stage? Do you have a so-called ritual? You know, for example, for some of the actors that I've interviewed, some of them have told me that they will eat a whole bag of jelly beans. Some of them will run a mile before. Some of them will just listen to music. Some of them will have dinner. You know, like it's so interesting that everyone has like their own thing. So what's your thing? Like what is the thing you always do to kind of set your mind to be like, okay, let's make this happen?
Oh yeah, so I guess definitely everyone has their own unique little quirks that they do before performing.
Yeah.
Mine is definitely just a full body shakedown. Like, I have so much adrenaline before going on stage, even before an audition, and I have to get it all out, otherwise I feel like I'm gonna explode. So I normally just run around. It's probably dangerous, and you probably shouldn't take that advice, but I run around through backstage, up and down, and I just jump up and down, do 20-star jumps, and then keep running around and let my heart race a little bit, and then I think, okay, this is about to happen, and then I let my body calm down and I breathe, and then I pretty much just run on. And I do that quite literally 5 minutes before I go on, because I need to get that adrenaline out before I get on. Otherwise, I'm just too full of nerves, and nerves is a good thing, but not always in a good sense if you're that nervous that you feel like something's gonna go wrong. So I quite literally leave 5 to 10 minutes before I get all this adrenaline out of my system, and then I feel pumped to go on stage.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so you basically run a little bit. Do you do also kind of a little bit of parkour as well backstage, or?
Yeah, pretty much just whatever I can find, jumping over things, within reason, as safe as I possibly can. And then I guess that's like getting rid of the nerve adrenaline and getting me excited, like pumped.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you are performing, what's your goal? You know, like what is the thing you want to achieve when you are performing?
Honestly, I get so much happiness and joy seeing an audience look right at you and smile or cry, whatever you're trying to express in that moment, and see that the audience is reciprocating that. I find a lot of pleasure and joy out of that. And especially a lot of stage performers like myself, we thrive off the validation of the cheering and the claps, and it's a really nice feeling being a part of a room where everyone's a part of that moment with you, if that makes sense. Like, you're in the room with all these people watching you, but they're a part of the show as well, and it's nice to see them feel what you're feeling as you perform to them.
Okay. Okay. Now, if you could describe your whole acting career on a film. So let's say Netflix comes to you and say, "Hey, guess what? We're gonna do a film based on your acting career, but we need a title. What would be the title of it?"
Oh, as cliche as it sounds, I've been asked this before and I've changed my answers a few times. I'd probably say Journey.
Okay.
Journey to Now, or Journey to the Future. Something to do with journey, like journey to the future, journey to the present. And I know it sounds very cliche, but I guess everyone has a journey, and I find that really inspiring, I guess.
Okay. Okay. So we're talking about a trilogy going on here, right? I mean, we'll start with Journey in the past, then Journey in the present, and then closing the trilogy with Journey into the future or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, why not? I mean, everybody's doing trilogies right now, so why not?
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
know?
it sounds very cliche, but I guess it would be a good title.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay. Now, what about this? If you had to describe a film, but here's the catch. So it's basically all of the characters since day one until right now. So it's all of those characters you have played at the moment. They will gather to celebrate your birthday.
hmm
Tell me what would be the name of that film. So it's all of your characters, so and the real you to celebrate your birthday.
Another cliche one, but I would probably feel like it should say something like "Here I am," or "This is me," or yeah, I like this. I like the ring of "Here I am."
And what would it be? Would it be like a dramedy or horror, or how would it be?
A comedy. I'm a very comedic person, I would say. A lot of weird stuff happens to me, so I feel like it would just be very comical to just have a film, I guess, or me standing there pretty much saying, "Here I am. This is me," in a sense.
Yeah.
This is my life.
Now, if you had to choose one of your characters to go out with party, which character you would choose?
If it had to go out where, sorry?
Yeah. So if you had to go, if you have to go party, but with one of your characters, which characters you would choose? To be like, okay, you and me, let's go party right now. Who would it be?
Oh, gosh, that is a tricky one. Probably one of the characters that are comical, I suppose.
Right.
And I guess one of the serious characters I've played. There's been a few characters I like playing the comical characters, but I also like the serious ones because they delve into topics that a lot of people are too scared to play sometimes. So it would be quite interesting having a very serious character I've played before with anxiety and depression and that teenage angst, with a comical character that everything goes wrong, and nothing ever good happens, but they turn it into a good situation. I think I would say let's go together and see what happens there.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Now, I love your career. It's super cool. It's amazing. I love your vibe, your whole, yeah, like the attitude and the excitement you put to it. But I wonder, like, what motivates you? You know, we all have those days, right? That whenever things might be good or not, we just want to quit. Basically, you know, we start to think like, oh, this has been a waste of time. What I have done with my life? You know, like getting inside into all of this toxic bubble. It's way too simple. But for you, what put your feet back on the ground so you can continue on this journey you have created for some years
Um, Honestly, I get knocked down so many times. At least every couple of months, I have a mental breakdown, and I say, "This is it. Can't do this anymore." But honestly, like I was saying at the start of the interview, there's just this little fire, and it's always tickling there and burning, and I can never really have a break because I just want to keep going, and it can get very exhausting having to learn all these lines, and you put your heart and soul into like preparing something for someone to look and judge you completely raw, and it takes a while to edit and everything, and you submit all these videos and you go to these auditions, and it takes a lot of time, and a lot of the time, like 80%, 90% of the time, you get rejected. I think the thing that motivates me is just that drive of one day I'll get this role, or one day I'll be able to get to that milestone that I really want. And I guess the callbacks are also a very great motivation. But then I guess speaking for someone that hasn't had a callback before, that drive of one day I'm going to get there. You just have to keep telling yourself that one day you're going to get there. And you need to start small. A lot of people, including me, always think I'm going to get to Broadway, but that's too big. You need to start small. Like my biggest goal in the last few years was just I need to get a callback. And I started getting callbacks. And then my next little step up was I need to get a lead role or a featured role, and I got one. You just need to start small, and then once you achieve that, then you can think higher, and then that motivates you because you know that at least you completed a small goal. You know that you can get higher goals.
Okay? I love that. Okay. And my last question here, what can we expect from you in the future?
Oh, I consider myself to be a very versatile performer. I've always loved theatre. That is my biggest pride and passion. So I guess in the future I would love to be able to perform on the Capitol Theatre stage in Sydney, in the Opera House, something like that is a big goal that I've set for myself. I believe I'm close to getting there one day. And I guess being in a feature film one day, stuff like that. But I'm so versatile that I feel like if you put yourself in a box, it's harder to get out there. If I get offered any job to do anything, like a parade down in a local street, I'll take that. You know what I mean? So I guess wherever the road takes me, I'm happy to go wherever.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, that's cool, simple, but amazing. And you know, like one of the cool things that I love about interviewing actors, either if they do, either if most of the work is on theater or on TV shows, films, whatever, is the fact that you guys took a risk. You know, that you went outside the whole, you basically went outside for this typical suicidal routine box. You know what I mean? Like waking up 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then living up for the week. You know, like you went outside of it to create your own thing. And of course, it's risky, it's scary, and it's overwhelming sometimes. But the fact that you are continuing to make it happen, and of course, it's okay to have those moments in which you're like, you know what, I'm quitting, I'm done. But the fact that you're still making it happen and you're still achieving it little by little, I think that's inspiring enough for everybody here to realize that dreams can come true. You know, and it doesn't matter where you're from or what's your language or whatever. I mean, if you wanna make it happen, you can make it happen, of course. But there is this huge amount of work that you need to be doing it in order to kind of going step by step, right?
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that. And yeah, especially with COVID as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's been I think that's been the biggest drawback for most performers, if
Yeah.
not all. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I bet. Well, as I was saying, Isabella, I love your career. It's epic. It's amazing. I love it. It's fresh, and I'm super sure that at some point everybody's gonna know about you. I mean, we're
Oh,
talking about like people from Japan, Mexico too, the U.S., Germany, everybody, because you're awesome. You're genuine what you do. You put a lot of effort in the craft. And that's amazing. I love it. So it's only eventually that all this epicness is gonna happen. So hear me out.
oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
Absolutely. And also, I want to thank those who are watching this either here on YouTube or later on listening in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure to go follow Isabella right now, like right now. I mean, you can finish this video. I mean, we're kind of done, but go follow her. I mean, check all what she do. Leave me likes. I mean, do whatever because she's awesome. She's amazing. She's badass. And again, Isabella, thank you so much. Have an epic upcoming weekend. Yeah, because you kind of are in the future, you know. So have an epic upcoming weekend. Keep killing it, keeping awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, perfect. You're welcome, man. That's a wrap. Cool.
Awesome. That was so much fun.